Welcome to another edition of the True North Country Comics Podcast, dedicated to promote Canadian comic book creators and supporters. I'm John Swinimer. On this episode, I have another interview from Fan Expo 2017. Only this time I'm chatting with Matt Banning, aka Batt, and that's with two T's. Matt is a New York Times best-selling inker artist of titles such as The Darkness, X-Men, New Avengers, Pacific Rim, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman Alone, and Batman. Before I go further, though, I want to encourage you to like this podcast on iTunes, and definitely check out the TrueNorthCountryComics.com website. Like it on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, so you can discover a lot more information about Canadian comic book creators and supporters. Now, at the outset, I need to apologize about the brief nature of this interview. I caught Matt just as he was packing up from the end of the show. There's a lot more I could have asked him, especially about his work with Tom King on Batman Rebirth. So I'm just grateful to Matt for his time and his answers. Now I hope you enjoy this brief but insightful chat with Matt Banning.
Well, my most recent thing was relaunching the original Batman title as part of DC's Rebirth initiative. That was fantastic. I'd never worked with Tom King before, so that was nice. Tom seems to be a rising star writer at the moment. And as always, it's always a pleasure to work with Dave. Many people might not be aware, but Dave and I are old studio mates. I've known Dave since his first printed work, pretty much. So it's always nice to get a chance to work with David Finch. So that was a great launch.
Busy on the convention circuit. You just came back from San Diego, and now you're doing here in Toronto. Do you have a favorite convention that you like going to, a favorite place?
The La Mole Comic-Con in Mexico City stands out because not many other shows have ancient pyramids close by. And I'm a little bit of an amateur archaeology buff, so I love all that kind of stuff. Going to Teotihuacan, and it's kind of hard to match that. San Diego's always fun, and I've been having a great time in Toronto. This is my first time here, ever.
What are your thoughts then about this show compared to other ones?
It's been a great show. It's a great show for Canada. I think, the fans have been great, and, it's always nice to have a Tim Hortons down the street.
Sure. We just witnessed the 100th birthday of Jack Kirby. People are celebrating that. Can you talk about any influences that you've had on your work? Maybe Jack.
Well, with Jack Kirby, actually, I tend to lend toward his DC New Gods stuff. And I did Death of the New Gods with Jim Starlin, and that was like 4 or 5 years ago, and it was a real treat to get to play around with those characters. I love Orion and Mr. Miracle and Light Ray and Allfather and of course Darkseid, who's DC's big bad these days. We'll see how he shakes out in the movies.
Okay, sir. Well, thank you very much for your time. Do appreciate it.
Thanks to Matt for talking with me. You can discover more about Matt on Twitter. You can be found at Batt with two T's Inks, or Facebook.com Matt Batt Banning, and that's with two T's and two N's. And thanks to you for listening to the True North Country Comics Podcast. I invite you to subscribe, like, and comment on the podcast. And please send your feedback to truenorthcountrycomics@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening, and come back soon for another episode. Bye for now.